Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, 3rd class. Students, let's start our today's lesson. That is lesson number 2, Rappaccini'S daughter. Okay, students, let's start page number 32 and first, second, third, fourth paragraph. With that thought, he turned his eyes on the flowers which he had never once laid aside from his hand. Okay. अब जैसे उसने बात की डॉक्टर प्रोफेसर बैगलिनी ने कि दैट देयर इज अ स्मेल इन योर रूम, ठीक है, तो वो थोड़ा सा परेशान हो जाता है. ओके, एंड नाउ बिकॉज ही वांटेड टू टेस्ट ब्यूट्रस, अब वो ब्यूट्रस का टेस्ट लेना चाहते हैं, उसको ट्रायल उसका करना चाहते हैं कि वेदर शी इज डेडली और नॉट. सो ही इन ऑर्डर टू टेस्ट दैट ही गॉट सम fresh flowers and he was holding those flowers in his hand. Okay, so with that thought he turned his eyes on the flowers which he had never once laid aside. Laid aside mean kept aside, कि उसने अपने हाथ में जो है बेटा बुके को पकड़ा हुआ था फ्लावर्स का, उसने अभी रखे नहीं थे. So a feeling of terror shot through his frame on noticing that those fresh flowers were already beginning to dry up. अब एक फीलिंग थी तो एक टेरर की थी, अब सारी जो है उसमें आ गई. ठीक है, उसके अंदर आ गई कि जो है वो showed through his frame on noticing that those fresh flowers were already beginning to dry up, कि वो जो fresh flower थे वो dry होना शुरू हो गए थे. How? Because that poison it had been entered into the body of the Xiii. Okay, so Xiii grew white as stone. Now he had stunned what has been done with him. Okay, so and stood motionless before the glass, staring at himself as at the likeness of something frightful. Okay, likeness mean resemblance. Likeness mean resemblance. कि उसको ऐसा लगा that he had something very fearful, very frightful in him. कि उसमें उसके अंदर जो है कोई जो है वो dangerous किस्म की चीज जो है वो it has entered into him. Okay, so he remembered Baglioni's remarked about the smell that seemed to fill the room. Okay, उसको वो याद करते हैं that were the remarks that Professor Baglioni talked about the smell of the flowers. It must have been the poison in his breath. So students, it was the poison because he was taking breath in the room. So the smell of his breath, it had been spread in the whole room. So then he started to tremble. Tremble mean moving, shaking, recovering from his fright. Okay, now fright means fear. जैसे वो अपने fear से recover हुआ, he began to watch with curious eye an insect that was moving on the wall. अब उसने क्या किया कि एक जो है उसने बड़ा curious, mean to say now he was quite watchful. Okay, बड़ा watchful हो गया था and he was also very careful because he wanted to know that what has happened to him. Okay, so an insect that was moving on the wall, as active an insect as ever there was. So he saw there was an insect moving on the wall. Xiii bent towards the insect and gave forth a deep, long breath. The insect fell dead to the floor. Oh my God! Students, look, that Beatrice, she had transferred her poison into Xiii, and how it was transferring? It was transferring through breathing. Okay. So, accursed. No, accursed means condemn. He is condemning himself. कि जैसे damned होता है, लान तान करते इंसान, लानत भेजता है. Cried Xiii to himself, have you grown so poisonous that this insect dies by your breath? Now he is he's fearful of him. Okay, अब अपने आप से जो and he is thinking that what has he done? अब उसको अपने आप पे जो बेटा गुस्सा आ रहा है that a poison he is becoming so dangerous that even an insect it is died by his breath. So at that moment a rich sweet voice came floating up from the garden. Xiii, it is past the hour. Why do you delay? Come down. देखो टाइम गुजरता जा रहा है. Past hour mean how long after the beginning of hour. Past hour mean कि अब जो टाइम स्टार्ट हुए, जो उनकी मीटिंग का टाइम था, तो उनकी मीटिंग का टाइम स्टार्ट हुए काफी देर हो गई. So where are you? Okay. So next page, students. Okay. Yes, said Xiii softly. She is the only being whom my breath may not kill. Would that it might? Now he is saying that she is the only thing in this world whom his breath could not kill. And how it could be killed, students? Because he was also poisonous like Xiii. Both were poisonous, so how they can be harmful to each other? Okay, so he rushed down rapidly. He went rapidly, and in an instant was standing before the bride, and in instant mean moment, was standing before the bright and loving eyes of Beatrice. और दूसरी लम्हे बेटा, in the very next moment he was standing in front of Beatrice. A moment ago his anger and despair mean मायूसी, ठीक है, उसकी जो मायूसी थी, उसका एंगर था, had been to so fierce that he could have desired nothing to so much as to kill her. नो कहते कि कुछ लम्हे पहले जो था उसका जो fear था या उसकी एंगर जो थी, it has gone to that level that he wanted to kill Beatrice. But with her actual presence there came memories of her sweet and maidenly nature. लेकिन जैसे ही उसके सामने आया, so these things changed. The feeling of hatred and fear, it changed into feeling of love and madness. Okay, so her presence had not utterly lost its magic. अब उसकी जो presence थी, due to her presence, so all these things gonna change. Clear? Okay, but the next paragraph. Beatrice sensed immediately that there was a gulf of blackness between them. Okay, blackness means darkness. Now Beatrice, she was thinking that she was starting thinking about those things that were started in between both of them. ठीक है, उसको कुछ idea हो गया ना that there was something wrong. So which neither he nor she could cross. कहते हैं कि उसको पता चल गया था कि उसके उन दोनों के दरमियान इतना डिस्टेंस है जिसको जो है वो they both can't cross it. ठीक है, they walked on together, sad and silent, and came thus to the strong stone fountain and to its pool of water on the ground, in the middle of which grew the plant that bore the jewel-like flowers. Now they were walking sadly and silently, and by talking and walking, they reached to the flower that had been grown onto the near the fountain. Okay, fountain के पास वो जो उगा होता है और जिसके flowers जो बेटा they bore the jewel-like flowers. Mean to say this flower जो थे वो उसको jewel की तरह लगते थे, मोतियों की तरह लगते थे. Xiii was frightened at the eager enjoyment, the hunger with which he found himself breathing the smell of the flower. Now he has got that thing that he wanted to breathe in while closing that flower. Beta. Now he is trying to absorb the poison that plant had in it. ठीक है, अब देखिए उसके अंदर वो चीज आनी शुरू हो गई है कि उसकी जो ये poisonous जो है, he wanna become more poisonous, and it is very dangerous thing for a human being. Okay, so Beatrice asked suddenly, where did this plant come from? कहते हैं ये plant कहाँ से आए थे? My father created it, answered she with simplicity. सिंप्लिसिटी के साथ वो आंसर देती है कि मेरे तो फादर ने इनको जो है वो ग्रो किया था. बीचेस आस्क्ड सडनली. ओके, ये हो गया बेटा. माय फादर क्रिएटेड इट. ओके, क्रिएटेड इट रिपीटेड Xiii. व्हाट डू यू मीन बीचेस? कहते क्रिएटेड से तुम्हारा क्या मुराद है बीचेस? ही इज अ मैन fearfully wise in the secrets of nature, replied Beatrice, and at the hour when I first drew breath, this plant sprang from the soil. कहते हैं कि वो ये जो आदमी है, मीन टू से माय फादर, ही इज वेरी fearfully wise, मीन टू से he had a lot of knowledge about the secrets of nature. So when I born and I took my first breath, so and that moment this plant it sprang. ठीक है, ये भी उगाया from the soil, the child of his science, of his brain, while I was but his earthly child. कहती मैं तो उसकी earthly child थी, उसकी मतलब blood मेरे साथ उसका relation था, but that particular plant was the child of his science. ठीक है बेटा, of his brain. So she continued observing with terror that Xiii was drawing nearer to the bush. अब उसको ये थोड़ा सा terror हो गया, mean to say she got frightened when Xiii he was going near to that particular bush. It has qualities that you little dream of. But I, dearest Xiii, grew up and flowered with the plant and was fed by its breath. कहते कि मैं तो इसके साथ जो है I grew side by side with that flower, okay, and was fed by its breath, and I was taking its breath. इसकी जो breathing थी बेटा, I am trying to absorb it. Okay, so it was my sister, and I loved it with a human love. For alas, I did not guessed it. There was an awful fate. कहते कि तुम्हें ये feel नहीं होता कि I had an awful mean very dangerous या lamenting type, जिसको हम कह सकते हैं कि बड़ी अजीब सी बेचारी की किस्मत थी वाकई बेटा. Look at this that she was a victim of her father's science. ठीक है, उसकी फादर की जो madness थी, madness for science, she was the victim of, and she was innocent, quite innocent. Okay, so here Xiii looked so darkly upon her that Peter paused and trembled, but her faith in his tenderness reassured her. अब जो है Xiii, he was continuously looking at her, and she puzzled. She started getting trembling. ठीक है, but her faith in his tenderness mean delicate, कि उसकी जो delicate softness थी उसके ऊपर बेटा उसका faith है, and she reassured, and that delicacy it reassured her. उसने उसको दोबारा से हिम्मत दिलाई. That was an awful fate, she continued. Okay, वो continuous अपनी बात रखी. The effect of my father's mad love of science may separated me from all society of my kind, until heaven sent you, dearest Xiii. Oh, how lonely was your poor Beatrice. कि देखिए ये मेरे जो फादर की जो मेरी मैडनेस थी फादर की for science, it separated me from the whole of the society, and later heaven sent you, ठीक है, as a friend of mine. Xii's anger broke forth like a lightning flash out of a dark cloud. अब उसकी जो है वो बेटा broke forth like a lightning flash. अब उसकी जो है वो anger जो बेटा खत्म हो गई थी, जैसे एक dark cloud से कोई light बाहर आती है ना, इस तरह से उसकी anger भी खत्म हो गई थी. Accursed one, cried he, and you have cut me off likewise from all the warmth of life and drawn me into your region of unspeakable terror. Now अब क्या कहते हैं? So बेटा इसका थोड़ा सा करना पड़ेगा चेंज थोड़ा सा. Xii's anger broke forth like a lightning flash out of a dark cloud. जैसे ये एक बिजली कड़कती है ना डार्क क्लाउड में, उसी तरह से वो उसका जो है ना वो उस पे शाउटिंग उससे स्टार्ट कर दी. ठीक है, कहते हैं कि लानत हो, ठीक है, accursed, damned you, कि तुमने मुझे भी अपनी तरह जो है वो पूरी सोसाइटी से कट कर दिया. और इस जो रीजन अनस्पीकेबल टेरर का रीजन है, एक जिसमें टेरिफाइंग चीजें हैं, पॉइजनस थिंग है, उसमें तुमने जो है मुझे एंटर कर दिया. ओके, नाउ बेटा स्टूडेंट, दिस इज एनफ फॉर टुडे. सो पेज नंबर 34, and inshallah tomorrow we will try to finish this lesson. Okay, so take care of you, and God bless all of you. Allah.